But let's begin with the wildfires, the tornadoes, the flash flooding, and the severe weather that's causing destruction, not just here in New York, not just in Louisiana, but Anne-Marie, this is happening across the country. Wildfires are ravaging parts of the West, especially in California and Nevada, where the Caldor fire has already forced tens of thousands of people to evacuate. But forecasters say strong winds are finally calming down. This will hopefully give firefighters a chance to contain the flames as they threaten Lake Tahoe. Let's take you now down south, where recovery efforts are underway after Ida caused widespread devastation earlier this week. More than 900,000 people in Louisiana still do not have power, and the heat and humidity are refusing to let up.
And remnants from Ida have pummeled parts of the Northeast. The system is hovering over New England right now, and Massachusetts is starting to see flooding across the state today. This comes after the storm triggered devastating flooding across the Northeast overnight. Several people have been killed, including a 2-year-old boy. Torrential downpours crippled roads and subway stations across New York City. Dramatic images show water pouring onto train tracks, platforms, and staircases, causing travel nightmares for many people. And take a look at this. Cell phone video captured a tornado moving through Bristol, Pennsylvania, which is about a half-hour northeast of Philadelphia. Other tornadoes were also reported in New Jersey and Maryland. And the flooding has kept rescue crews busy. You can see here firefighters in Philadelphia rescued several families trapped in a neighborhood this morning, including an elderly woman. Mola Lenghi gives us a look at the chaos Ida has caused as it moves further north.
Look at that tornado!
A tornado tore through southern New Jersey Wednesday, possibly the strongest to ever hit the state. It ripped the sides off some homes and turned others into a pile of rubble. As the remnants of Hurricane Ida spun off other possible twisters in Pennsylvania, the storm sent water pouring into New York City subways, forcing all trains to stop.
Oh my God!
Rain flooded the streets, reaching some car windows.
The cars are floating!
And lifting others right off the road. The National Weather Service issued a flash flood emergency for the first time ever in New York City, as strong winds blew rain sideways into the covered U.S. Open Stadium in Queens during a match, forcing play to be suspended. In Brooklyn, rescue crews worked to save drivers trapped in the flood. And this biker found himself in waist-deep water, apparently trying to deliver someone's dinner. Meanwhile, some buildings in Manhattan were no match for the flood. Water rushing into this apartment. Parts of the region got 3 inches of rain in just an hour, believed to be a record in the area. The destruction in the Northeast came after Ida wreaked havoc in parts of Virginia and Maryland, burying cars in mud. And in the Annapolis area, a tornado tore down power lines, leaving this tangled mess of trees and wires.
So Mola is with us now, covering the storm from Middlesex, New Jersey. I guess my first question for you, Mola, is just what are conditions like now? It looks like the sun's out, but we can see the flooding behind you.
Oh, yeah, Anne-Marie. I mean, obviously the storm has passed. The sun is out, shaping up to be a beautiful day. But of course, as you mentioned, there are these leftovers. Flooded streets, streets underwater, flooded neighborhoods, really in several directions. We're at an intersection, and as far as I can see down that street, as far as I can see down that street, as far as we can see down this street, the streets are completely underwater. First responders spent a lot of the morning, some of the overnight hours, evacuating people from these homes in these flooded neighborhoods, coming in here with large trucks, families jumping into the beds of the trucks, getting them out of here. So a lot of these homes have already been evacuated. So yes, the storm has passed. The worst of it appears to be over, but folks are going to still continue to deal with these after effects for at least the next few hours.
And Mola, I guess the question on a lot of people's minds is, how are people doing even as they await for look at this. The New York governor has declared a state of emergency, and she's also asking people to stay home and avoid unnecessary travel. And, we mentioned at the top of the show that the flooding shut down the New York City subway. What are you hearing about the subway trains running again? Can we expect that soon, or is it still going to be rough going for the next couple of hours?
Yeah, I mean, you guys saw some of the images of the subway systems, the tunnels, water just pouring in there. That happens quick. I mean, you guys know how quick, the water pours in, how quick flash floods happen. So, in terms of how people are dealing with it, what people were expecting, it's difficult to see something like that coming. So folks are dealing with it, as best they can. But the subway systems, as you mentioned, Vlad, they were completely shut down overnight in New York City. And some of the lines have reopened this morning. It's going to be a gradual process as they get back to fully functioning throughout the city again.
So we know in some areas traveling below ground has come to a halt. What about above? What about air travel? Is it being affected by the storm?
Yeah, it was, especially last night into this morning. The Newark International Airport experienced some flooding of its own. I mean, set aside just traveling, trying to get planes off the ground in those conditions. But the actual Newark International Airport experienced some flooding in parts of it, parts of their buildings. Some of the areas had to be evacuated. So, there was cancellations of flights. There were delays of flights, really causing a ripple effect. And a lot of headaches last night into this morning. But as of this morning, we're told that all air travel has resumed, I should say, from Newark International Airport.
All right, Mola, thank you very much.